So welcome everyone to our weekly Global Heart Resonance call. And I'm Shelley Darling, and I'm here hosting this call for good of the whole. And this is just such a beautiful opportunity to deepen our experience in this oceanic movement of what we call the unified field. This call is specifically about diving into this frequency of love as a coherent whole, with the full recognition that we are whole beings in service to contributing to a greater whole, to the planet as a whole, understanding we are fully interconnected to this vast multiverse, and that we as beings are being informed from this field. So we are this experience of love in action, always coming forth in greater unity. And we really honor all the incredible circles and all these beautiful actionings that are happening on the planet. And this particular call has a specific focus, and that it is a way to come into this experience of love as a practical restorative practice. So, and that together we're cultivating this ethos of wholeness. And just want to welcome everyone as people are coming on, inviting you to put yourselves on mute as we open. And we always start this call with a heart resonance, and I'm really excited to have Henry Lepler here, really supporting this call and be opening with the resonance. And we're really attuning to this home frequency, this generative force of love that is, we can actually deeply trust, is really connecting us in ways that are serving the empowering of each and every individual and us as a collective. So with that, just welcome everyone. For those of you that are on the phone, you can come through the Zoom app and you'll be able to see us. But you can swipe left if you've come to that Zoom app, and you can see everyone. We invite that on this call to really feel this tapestry as it's being woven. And for those that are on the computer, you'll see up in the right-hand corner, there's a speaker view and a gallery view. And by putting yourself on the gallery view, you'll be able to see everyone here. So I'll give a few guidelines after Henry opens this call, and be sharing today's focus, which is hearing without words.
Good morning, everyone. So I just invite you to get relaxed, to be comfortable, and opening to this moment lovingly. To the presence of this moment. To the presence of your essence in your heart space. As we connect our essences in the silent presence, in the silent radiance of this moment and of our intent and intention at this time, into the place beyond words, where that is harbored. in the stillness. And we open in the stillness as well to connecting hearts, essences, with others that we know and others beyond, all across our dear planet. Coming back to our circle here this morning, ready to be and share from this space. Returning back to our circle.
So welcome everyone. And I love that word, harboring. Just continuing in this space that Henry has set for all of us. And to feel into the reservoir of this heart space that we're creating as a collective here this morning. So for those that are getting on new, I'm just going to share a few guidelines. And the invitation here this morning is to really deepen into this resonant field, to begin to know it fully. So with this call, it's really simple, just a couple of guidelines. For those who are on the call and who are on their phones, it's really important for each one of us to just say your name before you speak. And the invitation is to speak to the whole, as if you were a spoke on the wheel and you're speaking to the hub. And we're letting go of our identifications of ourselves in a way that we become I guess the way I would say it is the waters. We are an experience of the water, the voice, and the song of the water. So we're shifting from the I this morning into the we, speaking in present time, and speaking when that voice, that water wants to speak through you. And to be a conscious collective listening to what is evolving in the field in this moment, which may mean, whoa, you pop an idea from what someone says, and then it's actually just like a river. You know, I've been at this Yuba River, and you're just sitting at the river, and that moment is just flowing, and we're letting go into that voice. And so we just pay attention to when we really feel that impulse to speak. And we limit our contributions to 1 to 2 minutes, so this flow can continue, this weaving of this shuttle of life that's happening right in the moment, this tapestry that we're creating as a collective. So you can speak more than once. And we invite, the most important piece is the pause, to allow a pause in between the sharings, not just for those who are on the phone to unmute themselves, but as with this deep understanding of this liminal field that's informing us, that's bringing new solutions. And it's tasting that divine presence of love that Henry was so much bringing us into, that divinity of self. So with that, I'm going to bring us into today's focus, which is hearing without words. And I'm going to share what was shared for those who might not have read these words today. So continuing with the resonance, you are moving into a time where there be no language as we know it now. We will notice a level of awareness increasing. Your potential will be expressed and experienced vibrationally and shared through waves of a reality that we create as a collective. Before long, there will be no words to define this consciousness. As we approach this time, we suggest that you use fewer words, focusing on what's emerging and shining that light out, together fostering the vibrational frequency that we intend to be. We focus on our intention, substantiating this experience through the substance and the fluids of our body, accelerating the vibration that we choose to manifest through and magnetically attract what we are intending. So this morning, really tapping into and surrendering to this vibration and allowing this charge of energy to manifest and really ripple out through this collective and out into the greater whole. So this was taken from the Sunlight on Water from Flo Magdalena. And with that, we just tap into this field. We share by just grabbing this virtual talking stick, this crystalline talking stick. And for those on the phone, remember too, you need to unmute yourselves when you're speaking. So we just keep ourselves muted until you feel that impulse, and then unmute. So with that, I'm complete and whole, and pass this beautiful talking stick.
This is Henry. I am hearing so much in the silence. And I love this opportunity to open to what is being communicated by each one of us, especially in this resonance circle, and the wonder of that and opening. I'm not sure I fully understand this reading, but of opening to new ways of communicating that actually helps to increase our awarenesses. And I believe that this circle has been practicing this already, and this just gives another doorway to deepening or directing our consciousness to to see all of that wonder that is just present in who we are, in the gift that each of us brings in our presence. So I feel complete.
This is Oriana. This morning, as I was studying quantum physics, and I became very curious about how life came into form, what originates life on this planet, on this world. And I began to feel water. Just a water molecule, 2 hydrogen and oxygen. And yet we are 99% water molecules. They're so small, they don't take up a lot of volume. But nonetheless, 99 out of 100 of your cells are water, not cells, but molecules. What if we identify with the water molecule within us? What does it feel to float inside of physical form? And then I began to wonder about water and the precipitation cycle of water vapor in order to come into a liquid form, coagulates around a speck of dust in the atmosphere, and clouds are formed. What if water? How did water form in this world? Maybe we're that speck of dust, just a little speck of stardust floating. And water vapor is the plasma of the universe that coagulates around a little speck of stardust, creating an atmosphere. And what if we're just one little drop in a cosmic cloud? Do we bring rainfall that brings life? Do we evaporate back to the heavens? Or is it all a cycle within cycles? And perhaps it's knowing this inner cycle, fractals of a cosmic knowing coming into form, giving life. How does living water originate life? And how do we evolve exploring a physical world and knowing water, the whole cycle. There's no separation. We are the universe, floating, knowing we're water. and I am complete.
Thank you, Ariana. I was listening to Ariana without words. And I'm actually quite blown away. Oh my God. Yeah, that was like a little trip into another world. I have to say, I wish I could just see your face a lot bigger in the screen, like really close up when you do that. Wow. It was like not enough of those eyes. I mean, it was very amazing. And I kept saying, do not listen to words. And I did hear some words: water, molecules. That's about the only words I heard. I'm trying to remember. Words and water and molecules. But the view was, the whole thing was very, I think it's what she was talking about. I'm not sure. But I think what was being said was some unbelievable, magical, unbelievable, unfathomable situation or presence or happening. Anyway, so that was my experience of that. It was really, really fun, and thank you. I'm complete.
This is Shelley, and just pulling that fluid thread forward. It's like I can feel this experience happening in my throat, and this sense of almost as the water is speaking through us, this sense of pay attention to me, pay attention to this movement of presence as energy, which is really creativity in motion. For me, it's this deep delight and surge when I surge into these waters as a collective, and I'm pulling on that fluid. I love that 99% water, water molecules, and it's this deep space of experience of appreciation in a way that I feel like is just like wanting to shower us. It's like we have this ability to taste this formless form. And it inspires and it informs. And it knows itself. And when I open to receiving that experience, this, call it a doorway, call it an opening or a portal. I'm having this visual of, those stone circles, when you these master stone architects create these stone circles, and that center stone is holding that circle, that vibrational field together, and it creates a portal. And that this call is an experience into this portal of delight. That's what's moving right here, right now. And I pass the crystal and talking stick. And I'm complete. Thank you.
Hello, this is Judy. Oh wow, I definitely feel delight. And I don't really know what to say, but I can definitely feel it. And the resonation of, I guess, trying to telepathically communicate pretty strong too. And thank you all. And I'm complete.
This is Dinama, and it's from this place of stillness that we hear without words. We move from step thinkers to web thinkers, in a sense. The holistic, the whole picture, the capsule of all in our communication, which water naturally brings. And I'm grateful for this awareness and awakening of communion that is boundless, timeless, beyond linear construction. It's in motion, and this is the field informing us, each one of our wholeness, our unity, and our conscious co-creation without words. It comes through a vibrational frequency of our choosing, of our intention, of our focus. And it is magical in the sense that it is not logical. It is of the essence of the creative force we are. And it is delightful to be here together and to know that in the moment, I am the expression of the whole of us, and bring all that creative power to each moment. And this is the new manifesting through us, the ancient cutting edge. I'm complete.
Who was it? Who was it that you thought you were talking to?
Hello, this is Karen speaking. While Oriana was talking and then listening to the others that followed, I started having visuals coming through. I saw what I believe would be living water pouring down on this lush planet. and turning into light, crystalline light, just flowing. And then I saw like a human shape form, but with nothing in it, being filled with this light, this crystalline light, till it was like a container that completely filled and just emanated light, and was floating above the planet, could reach and touch, but was not in physical form walking on the planet yet. And when Dinama was speaking, I felt my crown chakra majorly activated, which is why I had to move my headset so it wasn't over it. And it's quite phenomenal, the feelings, the sensations. It started with Henry's beginning of the energy flowing through and within this group, this circle. I am complete for now. Thank you.
This is Julie. I'll follow that thread with Karen's vision about that time that Oriana was speaking. I was visualizing that for my nephew. Last night, he tried to take his own life. And with the no words piece, I was just holding in meditation the love and the field from this group and this call, and just communicating with him as he sits in his hospital bed in Kansas City. And I think that's enough words. So thank you for that gift of seeing and hearing. And I'm complete.
This is Oriana, and I really feel moved to offer this to Julie and her nephew. I was in Portland speaking with the Swamiji, and asked of the will to live for the world. And he said, well, I can't tell you. It's something you have to find in deep meditation and prayer. And then he took my hand and he transmitted to me the Sri Yantra mandala, but in 3 dimensions. So it's a tetragrammaton shape. If you looked at the flower of life dimensionally, you would see the tetragrammaton in spheres. And I said immediately, oh, it's in the heart. And he said, yes. And I said, it's the doorway. And he said, yes. And I said, and it's for balance. He said, yes. And I said, and then you don't feel the pull push going in between. He said, no, there's no push pull. So the balance, where we come into the heart and we feel the world heart first, it can be so overwhelming that the will to live is the world coming alive. And that as we feel it heart first, we hold it and transmit it as the balance this world so needs, requires. To feel the higher possibility of life unfolding. And there came a moment where I felt certainty that I am from God and I'm here, and therefore it's all the most beautiful future. And there was a moment of faith that I knew with certainty. But it was poignant, so poignant, it felt almost overwhelming. And the Swami said, yes, that's how you know it's real. And I said, but Swami, it was fleeting. And he said, yes. And that's the work, to come back to knowing, to really be in that place of certainty, where we bring in that future that is meant to be. It's being the future that we know is the highest possibility for this world, in love, compassion. Where empathy isn't feeling to the point of being overwhelmed. Empathy is feeling and allowing the transmuting to be life itself, unfurling and unfolding, as the will to live is the urge to come alive. With very deep blessings and prayers for your nephew and for all relations. May we all feel coming alive in great joy. As we begin exploring this portal as one of joy. And I am complete.
Hello, this is Karen again. As Julia was speaking about her nephew, I believe, I found myself again seeing, being transported to a hospital room, hovering above, putting a hand on the heart of a young man with light energy. The young man to gasp, like, and then I was not there anymore. I've had these experiences before. I hope the outcome is as positive as some of the other ones were. With that, I'm complete.
This is Henry. I want to pick up the piece that was expressed earlier by Dina of communion. So I'm feeling a very deep communion here through that doorway of that word. And feel like that presence is extending outward to your nephew, Julie. And also the word that was expressed of telepathy earlier by someone else, which I guess is supposed to be something that we're moving more into in this coming time, that goes or might help to bring us beyond language as we know it, and maybe using fewer words so that our awareness increases. And I love to find new ways in all areas or sectors. I've expressed new ways of seeing and being, but also now new ways of hearing, new ways of communicating. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity this morning. I feel complete.
Hello, this is Karen. I'm being guided to share that besides the energy that has come up in this field is phenomenal. When things like that happen to me, like with Julie's nephew, it usually does not happen so like this, so rapidly, so instantaneously as soon as she was speaking. I believe it has to do with the field we're creating here. And it's very amazing and powerful. And thank you all for allowing me to be here and part of this. I'm grateful. I'm complete.
This is Shelley, and I'm really experiencing this great swell, and that's the word that is moving. It's like a swell is deep, and it contains with it just such a power, I guess, and just feeling this frequency of transmutation. I remember years ago, I put it on my business card. I totally got clear. It wasn't just about transformation. It was about transmutation. And it was really scary to put that word on my business card. And I feel this is the energy that's flowing, is that it's a little bit different than transformation. Because with transmutation, it's all-inclusive. And it's where this dialoguing, this communion of hearts that's happening here this morning it's interacting with the larger web. So as we, followed that thread to that, to Julie's nephew, and where that light can shine and tap into his heart, we're tapping into the field of all creation. It's the children that are awaiting to be reunited with their families. It's all over the place. And we come here, and it's interesting to me this morning, just really feeling into the depths of this swell of energy that's being created here, is that the effect is greater than we can imagine. And it's this activity of this energy in motion, that in a sense, a tsunami. It's that swell that is effectual to all of its parts, its molecules. And I'm just feeling this deep wave of connection, and this information field that it clusters when we cluster together. We become that spontaneous reformation of energy. And then we, in being that, in continuing that what we've been calling the home frequency. This is that home frequency where individuals can feel that sense of belonging, because that's what's missing. That's why people are doing what they're doing. They can't make that connection. So we do it here for ourselves. We do it here for the greater collective. And I just want to thank everyone for being so deeply present in this field. And just a reminder for those that are on the phone, hopefully I haven't muted you, but if you're having a problem getting on, just put something in the chat and I'll unmute you. So with that, I'm just eternally grateful for being here. Thank you so much in this field. And I'm complete.
Well, this is Don. Hi, everyone. And without saying, lots of love to everyone. But I must say that I'm feeling kind of anger and frustration when I just hear of suicide, the suicide, the expression of hate, people who get so, suicide is kind of murdering ourselves. And I get frustrated because I'm wondering, I have to ask myself, what is it that we could be doing, or what is it that we're not doing? How are we failing in some way, others, by not being able to somehow, I think we have such a beautiful, wonderful world. And what is it that leads us to somehow direct our hate instead of where it ought to be directed? And we ought to be hating war, we ought to be hating poverty, we ought to be hating injustice. Somehow instead we hate people, we get into wars, we get into fighting, we put other people down. So I can't help but to feel and express a certain amount of frustration and anger. What is going on here, that we're somehow missing something? And somehow I think we need to, at least I feel, I ask myself question, what's the next step? is this the whole answer, that what's going on here? I think maybe it's part of it, but I think there's got to be something more. I just feel there's something more that could be done. I don't know that I have the answer, but I think we need to ask questions about this. Why is it that we still have so much hate, that people do things not just to kill themselves, but to kill other people? So thank you for at least allowing me to express feelings other than love. I feel love, but I also think there are other feelings that need to be recognized. So because I think it's anxiety, it's fear, and so on that drives us to do new things, that maybe we can be more creative. And I'd like to see if there's some other things that when people come together, that we have our creative force, that we do something that can do some new kinds of things. And I'm complete. Thank you.
This is Dinama, and the word that I've been feeling so strongly, the energy of balance. And just as peace is an inside job, balance is the key to that peace. And feels to me that even planetarily right now, we are being urged, each of us, to choose and seek balance within our own hearts. And the illusion that all of this is happening outside ourselves is where I feel this is the invitation at this crossroads of how am I showing up? What frequency am I vibrating and emanating? And am I loving myself unconditionally? Or do I have unforgiveness or judgment of me that then manifests in my relationships and how I treat others? This seems to me to be the hearing without words. There's information emanating from our heart frequency, which of course is amplified here, and is that place of stillness for each of us to receive that balanced knowing of the truth of our being. And in that place, living that from the inside out, living it into life. And this is what is swirling in this whirlpool of resonance. That's what's moving and reminding me of the power of my presence as a divine being and as the one speaking for the whole of us. It's an invitation to embody the full sovereignty of my being. And I'm complete.
So this is Shelley, and I'm going to, Victoria, I'm going to just grab the mic for a sec, okay? If you can put yourself on mute, that'd be great. Woo! Big energies moving, and it's important for us here to really honor the time and actually the magnificence of how many people showed up here today to be in this field and to really be inclusive of everything that's been shared. You know, it's such a it's a time to deepen into ourselves, and so always at this call, we at the very end, we open up to the people that haven't shared and invite you to put yourselves on mute. Off mute. Just so that your voice can come in, even if it's just saying hi and who you are, but that you are a keeper of this field with us. And we are moving to greater presence, to greater love, and learning how to hold the resonance for those that are having a hard time, as, and doing things that are, things like hurting themselves and hurting others. So with that, I'm going to invite those of us that have spoken to just breathe and hold that greater resonance. And then I'm going to end with a story this morning, because I think it's really important. So those of you on the phone, I'm going to unmute you just in case I muted you. And if you feel like you want to share into the field, please feel free. And then we have a special way of ending this call as well.
Hi, this is Kate Genevieve in England, and I'm getting ready for my annual trip to Chartres in France, and we'll be doing some water ceremony there next weekend, and thinking of you all and connecting with you all, because that journey feels so intertwined with the water, the water love that Shelley has introduced into my life. One of the things we're doing next Saturday is my Persian friend Faranak, as part of the Persian festivities after the summer solstice, there are water celebrations which involve just throwing water all over each other. I mean, the children do it, but this is something we're going to enter into, and it feels very playful and not at all like a serious ritual, but there's something in that of delight and loving life, and the playful and the simplicity of just joyfully celebrating life. So I have not got many words. I am going into a silence, because the return to Chartres and the cathedral there and the energies there is very, very humbling. I just wanted to share with you that sense of joy and playfulness.
Hi, this is Alicia Howry, and I'm in Houston, Texas. And I'm driving, so I'm going to keep it short. And I noticed the write-up for this particular gathering, and I resonate with this fully. I've spent a lot more time in reverence and silence, and being very selective of what I speak, and putting more energy and focus into being the frequency of love and creation, and remembering to have fun and enjoy right where I am, and right where I see my people to be. Yeah, and my son is in the car with me. He actually wants to say hi, and he's reminding me to play like children. You want to say hi?
Hello.
That's great, and thank you all, and I look forward to gathering again and hearing from all of you.
I wonder if I'm audible. Kate is calling in from a park in South Dakota. Really appreciating your energy, but I'm sending it not even. You can feel me even if you can't hear me.
Thank you, Kate. We heard you.
Hi,
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Julie from New York City, and I appreciate the call, and thank you for holding them.
Beautiful. Thank you. Woo, let's just take a breath together. We're just going to go a couple of minutes over. So we have, stay on the line because we have a fun way of ending. I think your son will love it. And I just want to tell a story because I think it's really important. We've been talking about the water and so much more here. And I'm just going to do my best to just honing in on this story because it was something very magical. And it happened to me yesterday when around the world there was a heart meditation and a prayers for the water. And I have a daughter who's about 36. She's got 2 sons, single mother, and has moved into more of her spirituality, but has been very, very scared inside and scared to be herself and scared, just not feeling safe. And there was some abuse earlier on in her life. And by some moment, I ended up sending her the prayers for the water. And by some magic, she and some friends were at a river yesterday. And she called me just a few minutes after she had decided that she was going to gather her friends to a river. She's never done a water blessing ever. And she took these words, these prayers to the water and prayers for the earth and prayers for all relations. And she just read it out loud. And she called me in falling apart in tears that she had this experience. She said, "Mom, I don't know how to explain this." She said, "I experienced, well, I guess you would say oneness. I don't even really know what that means. But I had this experience of so much love and so much connection, and it changed my life." And she described after that driving up this mountain and having this realization that she was afraid of being alone. But in that moment of that connection with the water and driving down the mountain, she had this experience of being safe. And she said she was taken into this full celestial realm. And I guess that's just where I'm going to end, that this somehow having her feet in the water, something informed her being that she was safe. And she felt an aliveness that we've been talking about on this call. And I just wanted to share that into this field because it wasn't because she did 10 trainings on love or did all these different, nonviolent communications, or she literally put herself in the water and said a prayer and was somehow her heart opened. And with that, I leave you for this call and thank you so much. And the way we end this call is invite everyone to unmute yourself. And we end with this choir of Yum and really this rippling out of this reverence and light and love that we've been experiencing here. So for those of you, please share this call. We'll be back next Monday. And it's just always an expansion of this experience of what we call the unified field. Really tuning into that. So here we go. Unmute yourselves. And we send this to Julie's nephew as well as all the children and anyone who's suffering. Yum.
Yum. Yum, 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 yum.
Yum, 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 yum.